This is Electric Universe Eyes, and today I'm going to narrate The Great Comet Venus by David Talbott, 1997, section titled Venus and Cosmic Upheaval. Across Mesoamerica, Venus was celebrated as the radiant heart soul of the great cultural hero whom the Aztecs called Quetzalcoatl. Yet enigmatically, the appearances of the star after periods of absence stirred extraordinary fear. Evidently, the reappearance of Venus in different quarters after a prolonged absence carried various evil connotations for the people of Yucatan. Obviously, they were deeply concerned about where and when Venus might appear to reverse their fortunes. Expressions of this fear will be found at both the general and specific levels. There is the general association with death, as noted by Thompson and others, but also the more specific association with the death of kings. Thus, the Mayan date name of Venus, Hun Ahu, was a day of death and darkness. But more specifically, the same day among the Aztecs signified the death of Quetzalcoatl and the transformation of his heart soul into Venus. There seems to be no doubt that unlucky days were associated with the heliacal rise of Venus, its first appearance as morning star, after a period of absence, each to be regarded with appropriate ritual of any rites. The fear engendered by the heliacal rising of Venus was noted centuries ago by one of the earliest European chroniclers, Sahagun. Quote, "And when it, Venus, newly emerged, much fear came over them. All were frightened. Everywhere the outlets and openings of houses were closed up. It was said that perchance the light might bring a cause of sickness, something evil when it came to emerge. In response to the new and bright appearance of Venus, kings called for sacrifices of captives to please the gods, for it seems that the planet's appearance could invite great calamities from the outbreak of war to famine and flood. Could this be a key to understanding the mysteries of Venus' portents? As will become clear, the perils of Venus are the perils of the comet in the global lexicon. We have already noted that, throughout the ancient world, the comet portended the death of great kings. But interestingly, the heliacal rising of Venus conveyed the same celestial message as reported by Brundage. It is curious that the Mesoamerican peoples thought of the morning star so consistently as malign. He was to them, whether they were Aztec or Mayan, the very father of calamity. The dates of his heliacal rising were forecast so that the dooms ahead could be adequately read and prepared for. Significantly, his malice could also be directed at rulers, for if he arose on the tricana opened by one reed, then great lords sickened and died. Thus, the Annals de Cuautitlan, a chronicle from the Mexican highlands of colonial times, describes the perils of the piercing rays of Venus. On the day one reed, the day of Quetzalcoatl's birth, and the day of the same god-king's death, the rising of Venus is deadly. It shoots the kings, the texts say. Notice here that an underlying logic is at work, running from the specific to the general, from the archetype to the symbol. Quetzalcoatl died at the critical calendar moment, both the end and the beginning of the time-reckoning system. Mythically, the end of one world age and the beginning of another. In the calendar system and in the sacred rites, the cyclical principle established by the life and death of Quetzalcoatl is both replaced and generalized. As above, so below. As before, so again. Hence, kings will die on the day one reed, the day that Quetzalcoatl's heart soul departed to become the planet Venus. What, then, is the significance of the fact that the symbolism of Venus replicates so precisely the global symbolism of the comet? The new appearance of Venus as morning star is a moment of great peril for the kingdom, the world, as is the appearance of the comet. It harkens back to the death of the God-King, as does the comet. It is the heart soul of the God-King rising in the sky, as is the comet. Is this, then, just another coincidence to add to all the others? The further one descends into the various cultural levels at which the fear was expressed, the more clear becomes the equation. The fear of Venus's rising was, in every way, identical to the fear instilled by the arrival of a comet.